Hello, and welcome back to another round of K-Talk. I'm Adriana,
And I'm Randy.
and today we wanted to talk to you about one of our services here at the library, specifically Hoopla. Now, I know we've mentioned Hoopla before in passing. I think we've talked about FreeGal a little more than any other service that we had. But we wanted to talk about Hoopla and showcase some of the movies that are available on Hoopla. Now, Hoopla allows you to borrow 20 items a month, and they have everything from audiobooks to ebooks to comic books to music, movies, and television. Television, I searched for Korean stuff or to see if they had any K-dramas on there. Unfortunately, they don't, but where they do shine is movies. And so we wanted to kind of talk about a few of the movies that are on here that we've watched, some of our favorites, and then, hopefully you can discover some for yourself because there's quite a collection here. Do you want to tell us about a few that you particularly enjoy?
I think my favorite movies that are on Hoopla are Along with the Gods. So there's Along with the Gods, Two Worlds, and Along with the Gods, The Last 49 Days. And they're kind of... I'm a huge science fiction and fantasy fan,
Same.
so a lot of what I watch is either that or crime mystery stuff. So a lot of what I have watched on Hoopla is either crime, mystery, comedies, or a science fiction fantasy. So Along with the Gods actually follows the path of a deceased firefighter through the underworld in the first film. And then obviously there is a sequel, and I thought they were going to make a third one. I'm not sure if that's still in the works. The pandemic happened and all of that. But I know that these movies are based, I think, on a webtoon, and they were just excellent.
I missed these two. I know they've been on Hoopla for a long time, and I've kind of wanted to watch them, but every time I'm gonna watch them, something happens, and then I forget about them for a while. So one of these days I just have to kind of bite the bullet and sit down and watch them because they look really interesting.
I have a lot of my favorite actors: Lee Jung-jae, Ha Jung-woon, and then the special effects, because obviously they're traveling through the underworld, and there's all these different things that are thrown into their path, and there's these three sort of guides that are guiding this deceased firefighter, and they're trying to sort of work their way. They're trying to reach a goal, I think, to be reincarnated or to, be redeemed in some way. So
you said the special effects were very good?
Yes, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome special effects.
One of the reasons why I do like talking about Korean or Asian cinema in general is that they're really coming up. They're coming up with some really great content. The production value in these movies is outstanding. And the storylines are usually because we're so used to everything that we grew up with here, it's kind of nice and fresh for me to see a different perspective, to see a different culture and things like that. You can see Korean cinema interweaving even into Hollywood. We've seen things like, Total Recall 2049 had a lot of Korean elements in it. The Avengers movies, even back from the Avengers movies, they filmed parts of it in Korea. And then you have Netflix is picking up everything and anything that they can Korean, as you know. And so, there's just so much here to unpack and be really thankful that you can have access to. I think out of everything that's on here, honestly, my favorite is still going to be Train to Busan. I know there's some really great things on here, but Train to Busan has got the special place in my heart for some weird reason, which is really weird because I have this terrible phobia of zombies, and yet I love watching anything zombies.
It is probably the best zombie film that I've seen.
Yes, honestly, yes. It's got such a an impactful story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's where this movie really shines, is that you are very vested in the lives of these characters, especially Gong Yu and his daughter, because you want them to survive, and you know that they're in this horrible situation,
and they're on a train,
and they're on a train.
Yes.
Yeah, moving.
It's kind of like a ridiculous premise where they're on a train trying to get somewhere that's safe, and there are zombies on a train. So how can you escape and be safe when you're on a train that is moving?
Exactly.
So it's
very
a great
well
film.
done. It's so well done. The pacing of the movie is just perfect. You know, things unfold at a natural level. You know, I do love like, I would say my second favorite zombie film would be Dawn of the Dead, the remake. And that one, on the flip side, things unfold like that. You get introduced to the characters, and then all of a sudden it is all out mayhem, and that to me was really impactful, that it felt like, oh my god. But then you get somewhere towards the middle of the movie, and the movie kind of stalls, because you basically had the apocalypse happen within the first not even 20 minutes, and then you've got these characters stuck in a mall trying to figure out their lives. So, you know, you get to the point where they're just bored out of their minds. They've got a little bit of, they're running out of supplies. They're basically at wit's end with each other.
In this one, it's
and
like
Train to Busan doesn't
non-stop.
do that. Yeah, it's
just non-stop.
Yeah. You're basically following them through the unfolding of this apocalypse.
Yeah.
And so I really think this movie was just so well done. I can never say too much about it. I think I've talked about this movie almost every other episode.
Probably.
K-Talk.
I think
it is one of my favorites.
We both enjoy that one.
Yes.
So.
And then there's the follow-up to that was Peninsula, which is also on Hoopla. Completely different film.
Yes, agreed.
Completely different feel. And yet, very entertaining.
I didn't enjoy that one as much.
No, nowhere near.
But yes, it was entertaining.
Yes.
But it was a completely different story. It had a sort of like Mad Max kind of feel to it.
Very much so.
So.
Yeah. I think the little girl saved that film.
Yeah.
You were just so interested to see what else she was going to get up to. And if you can find something that you can relate to in a film, I think it's a win. And for me, even though that movie nowhere near shines as much as the first one, I still think that I would still watch it again. And I think I've watched it twice. So, you know, although Train to Busan, I think I've watched like too many times. But yeah, I mean, it still was a very good watch, very entertaining. And I think our patrons would enjoy it.
Yeah.
What's your next
one? Well, I also like a lot of historical stuff. So there's an actress, Jung Ji-hyun, who has been in quite a few television shows, movies, that kind of thing. She was actually in a prequel on Netflix to Kingdom. And so there's a lot of different movies on Hoopla that have her in them. So I've watched multiple movies with her. Yeah. So kind of like a caper, sort of Ocean's 11 movie is The Thieves. So it's like this group of people that come together to pull off this heist at a casino. I believe it's a casino in Macau. And that one has a bit of a humor in it. And the people are like in Ocean's 11, the people are kind of, you know, characters. And then there's also a historical drama called Assassination, which is kind of set during the Japanese occupation of Korea. And it's about, again, a group of people who are, they're kind of, you know, spies, assassins, sharpshooters who are going to try to kill this commander. And so it's got a lot of adventure and
action.
Yeah, and again, just a really great film. So
I have, although I love her, and my daughter and I refer to her as JJH. We're always like, hey, JJH. She's fantastic. And one of the things that I think about her makes her stand out so much is she has range. Mm-hmm. She can be the goofiest character, like we saw her in My Love from the Stars, like super over the top.
She was kind of like that. There's My Sassy Girl. There's a movie.
Yes, I've
with
seen her in that one.
She was a kook in that.
Yeah, like she can be a total nut. Like have no regard for her like image. Other actors or actresses may be like, I don't want to do that character because it could ruin your image. Kind of thing.
Yeah, when she played a mermaid.
Oh yeah, and she played the mermaid too.
My Blue Sea. My Blue Sea.
Legend of the Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, she was like really ditzy in that, but then she has these other moments and other characters where she's very serious. Even within the range of her comedy roles, she can flip the switch and be so serious and dramatic and just kind of scary. When we saw her in Kingdom, that was a side of her that I was surprised to see. She was very, deadpan, very dark, very, So I love her for that. So I do have to check out some of these movies because I've seen her mainly in TV. I haven't followed her movie career as much as I've followed her TV career, but I have to check it out. I think for me, I know that you're not a fan of this one, but I watched this probably a few years after it came out, and I liked it back then. I watched it again probably about 8 months ago because I had it for film club, which is The Host.
Oh,
I know you don't like it. I really enjoyed this movie. I like the characters. I like the kookiness of it, like just this weird monster that pops up out of nowhere, and just the I think what I really, in the end, liked was the not happy ending. Although I know you hate not happy endings. I know you do. You don't like watching anything that doesn't have like a good happy ending. I don't mind them so much, and it was devastating. It was heart-wrenching, but at the same time, it fit.
I just want a payoff for my time. I invested time in that, and I want to have a good payoff.
Is the heartbreak?
No,
yes.
I don't want heartbreak.
I know. Nobody does. Okay, nobody wants that dark ending. Nobody wants that. But honestly, I think that sometimes the dark endings are there for a reason. They're there to counterbalance all of the other stuff. Like, for example, I had a huge when The Hunger Games was like a really big thing. My sister decided to read the books, and she was very upset with the books at the end. She was like, I can't believe how dark the ending was. And I was like, what did you expect? If these characters go through these really traumatic transitions, they're not going to come out on the other end happy and rosy. That's why when horror movies started having like these like sweet, sentimental, happy endings, I was really upset.
Horror movies are a completely different story.
I know, but
like,
that's what I'm
horror
saying.
Movies are supposed to end that way.
Well, this was a sci-fi thriller. I mean,
I'm sorry. I just... You just have to watch it and decide yourself, okay? That's it.
Yes.
If you watch The Host, we'll just agree to disagree. That's it.
What's next on your list?
Well, I mean, I've watched quite a few. I think probably the only other one that I really want to mention is another like historical fantasy drama, which is Memories of the Sword, which has some really excellent martial arts scenes.
I love
and has one of Kim Go-eun, I believe is her name. I really enjoyed her in several dramas that I've watched, so that's why I decided to watch this film. So it's kind of, she's one of the main characters, and just for the martial arts and the sword play,
And sometimes that's all you need, you
Yeah.
know. There are some films that the action is where it lives, you know.
Mhm.
I really am of the mind that if you're going to see a movie, you should go in suspending a lot of belief, and you should go in to enjoy something. I don't like when I go out to watch movies with friends and then they're like, that wasn't believable. Why do you expect it to be believable? It is fiction. It is a movie.
Well,
if it was a documentary,
it still had an interesting story.
yeah.
But that's what I remember most.
Yeah. Now, there's two more that I really enjoy, and I can't find, I want to say the title correctly, but first of all, The Witch, which was also on Netflix for a long time. This was fantastic. This is dark. Okay, let me get this out first. It's very dark. It's a very dark, twisted story, and it's a little bit of a convoluted story. But this is again one of those movies where it's the action that really shines. There is some amazing martial arts, some amazing like gunplay in this.
Is Choi Woo-shik in this one? Who's in this one?
This is Woo-shik Choi.
Yeah.
This
The
one
guy
was-
from Parasite.
Yes, the guy from Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting film all around, but it is a very dark story. I would say, like, honorable mention to The Swordsman, also a fantastic story with one of my favorite actors, Jang Hyuk. He is very dreamy. He plays a blind swordsman, and he's in search of like getting his daughter back. Very, very good movie. I highly recommend it. But the one I wanted to talk about was Midnight Runners.
Oh, I have seen that one.
You haven't?
I have.
You have.
I
Yeah.
have.
Midnight Runners is fantastic. It's a bromance comedy. Thriller, crime. I mean, there's so much in here.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little like Police Academy
Mhm.
movies because
A little bit more, with a little more serious.
yeah, well,
tone.
it's a serious storyline, serious crime that they're investigating,
Yeah.
but these two guys are not the best cops in the world.
No, they are not.
It has Park Seo-joon and Kang Ha-neul in
Yes.
it, who are both great actors, and it was funny and dark at times.
Yeah.
But it was a good film.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why you and I know for me, this is one of the reasons I totally enjoy Asian cinema and entertainment, is that they can give you like a really lighthearted story and then flip the switch on you really quickly, and you're like, how did this go so dark? I was recently watching a new anime on Netflix, and it was this really lighthearted, so like teenage kind of romance thing, and then all of a sudden it got really dark, and I was
Oh,
like,
no.
wow.
Oh no.
So yeah, this movie's like that, you know. You begin with the two characters, and there's a little bit of tension between them at first, and then they kind of become bromance. And they're investigating a very horrible crime, and so we've got, you know, them going against, like, they were told not to investigate, and they of course decided to continue with the investigation
Because they're in the police academy.
Yes.
They are
They're
not
not-
actual cops yet.
Exactly. So they're basically breaking all the rules
Yeah.
to kind of make sure that that this crime gets solved. But yeah, I think the performance of both Park Seo-joon and Kang Ha-neul is fantastic. They play so well off of each other. And there's a lot of other characters around them that are very good, very well balanced, to give you a good ensemble cast. So I definitely recommend this one. I've watched it a few times, and it's a good watch. It's a very good watch. Is there any other ones that you want to showcase, or?
Oh, well, like Adriana said, there's tons of movies on there.
Yeah.
And while I've watched quite a few, there are a lot of them that I still want to watch.
Me too.
There's like one with Park Bo-gum and Gong Yoo Sobuk, which is
Yeah.
kind of a science fiction one, I believe. And then there's one of my favorite Korean films is actually not on Netflix. I mean, not on Hoopla. I had originally watched it on Netflix, but it's not there anymore. It's called Admiral Roaring Currents. So he was this admiral who he had dragon ships. So, and he defeated like this huge like armada with like 3 ships.
Wow.
And so there is another film featuring him, and I'm not sure if I have his name correct, so I apologize if I don't, that was just released in 2020 called Hansan. So I kind of want to watch that just because I liked the Admiral so much. Even though it's a different actor, I still like if you get a chance to watch the Admiral, I would.
I'll have to look
highly
it up
recommend
and see if
that.
I can find it.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing is, a lot of these movies, honestly, like I would say probably Train to Busan and Peninsula have been on Hoopla over a year. A lot of the films that are listed, here in Hoopla remain on Hoopla, so you do have some time to kind of watch them. Though, of course, they do refresh content as content comes out, but you do have some time to see some of these. Not to mention, of course, they do have a great music selection. So if you're looking for some K-pop, there is K-pop on here. They do have audiobooks, and I know I've checked out a few audiobooks from Korean American authors. There's ebooks. There's just a lot for you to kind of see. There's even like some comics that are from Korea that are in here. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of content for you to take advantage of. And again, you'll get 20 checkouts a month. Movies you get to check out for 3 days. Music is 7 days, and books is going to be 21 days. So you have a good amount of content here for you to enjoy. So we just wanted to kind of showcase it a little bit and remind you that you do have the service attached to your library card.
Yep.
So that's going to be it for us this month. So we will see you next month with more K-Talk content.
Bye.
Bye.